It's come down to a third map here in our second game, a battle to get to the LANXESS arena in front of 14,000 screaming Counter-Strike fans. Flipside and NiP, no one would have expected it, but Cash went the way of Flipside in a rather one-sided affair. Minds were blown, hair was lost. Moses, Yanko and DDK are joining me. We have an opportunity now to talk a little bit about our final map, and it does come down to Mirage. It was thrown into the randomizer. Now, it feels kind of crazy to think we were still leaning towards NiP, despite a 16-1 victory in Flipside's favor. You're nodding, Yanko. Is it safe to assume a bit of a slip-up for NiP? Back to business now? I mean, it was a major slip-up for NiP, but I feel that out of the 3 maps that were in the randomizer, that this is actually the best map for Flipside. They're, you know, historically speaking, Mirage was one of their best maps. We always used to compare them to Navi on this map, talking about how they have a similar playstyle, especially on the T side.
It's also another very tactical map. It can be a very tactical map with the different things. If you gain mid control, you have so many options. That's always the key to this map. Is if you gain that mid, then you have the boost into the window. You have up catwalk. You have underpass. I mean, you gain so many more options when you have that, and that's when you can really see someone like Blade. If he's done his homework, which they obviously have in these first 2 maps, then you can expect coming into this, he's going to have plenty of options available to him to call in the mid round. The one thing that I think NiP is going to help, that's going to help them out on this map that you can't really do on the others so much is, well, Cash they could have, but they never got the chance, is that they can switch into this double op setup with Forest and Pit. It's been very effective in the past for them. I mean, previously, let's not, if you rewind to the previous major, it was a battle of retaining legendary status. They've got Pit now. They've got them at the major, and now they're 1 map away from not making it, Dan. It's kind of crazy to think that NiP are in this position. Dan.
Yeah, it's definitely, well, there'll be a lot of pressure on their shoulders for sure. But the thing is that, and conversely with the last map, where it's a map where maybe they don't have any new stuff because everyone's vetoing it against them and so on, Mirage is going to be one of the maps which they have been working on and where there can be differences, because it's a map where, previously when Alu joined, way back when, that's when they started playing it, and it was always kind of an okay map for them, but they never shorted up. So I think we will see some different stuff from them. I think it's going to be much harder for the preparation, as it did come into play on the last map, to actually work on this one. So I feel like this is actually a great chance, probably much better than maybe Nuke even, despite the fact that, as Yanko said, this is a map that often, or maybe Moses said it, this is a map that is quite comfortable for Flipside.
I really hope so, because the last 2 times, I mean, NiP played the map 2 times in DreamHack Summer against Immortals and against Godsend. They lost it both times. So I hope that they have something new in store for Flipside here. Another good thing for Flipside is that they've actually, this is a map where Blade plays really well, generally speaking. Maybe, generally he's the weakest player of the team, but on Mirage, he somehow always delivers.
And if he joins Waylander and World Edit from Cash, you've got yourself a very scary firepower-driven team for Flipside Tactics. I do want to know, guys, start to lean towards predictions. I know it seems quite early and quite hasty, but I do feel we might have a bit of a different opinion now after seeing Cash. Start with you, Jason. What's your kind of set the scene, closing thoughts, and a prediction?
For me, I'm still going to stick with NiP.
You are, okay.
I think, it comes down to the same reason behind Astralis is, yeah, this has been a great performance from Flipside, and they have them now at the brink of elimination. But this is where the experience, the stars of this team, Forest, Get Right, Exist. Those guys aren't going to be kept low on the frag numbers again. That doesn't happen 2 maps in a row. They're going to come alive, and I fully expect them to be able to take Mirage.
All right, he's believing in NiP. Has Cash swayed you, Yanko?
No, because, looking at the history of this team, I just can't, similar story to yesterday with Fnatic versus G2, I just can't imagine NiP not making it to the playoffs.
Dan, you believed in Flipside a little bit last time. How about now?
I think NiP are actually going to do it. I think this is going to feel a lot more fresh for them, and they're going to be able to believe in their structure and the team a lot. I think they'll be able to untilt themselves. That's what I hope, at least, because they need to do that for us to see a good game. But I think NiP will take it.
All right, well, let's have a look from the players themselves. They're going to be diving into a very important game of Counter-Strike now. The last 9 times these 2 teams met each other, NiP won 8 of them. It's kind of overwhelming, pointing towards the Swedes. Let's see if Flipside can cause even more unrest and upset. After Cash, they're going to have to do it again on Mirage to get to the LANXESS arena. Pansy and Blue are your commentators.
Thank you very much. And yeah, what a brilliant way for this series to come to a close. It's going to be going down on Mirage, this map. I don't know what to expect. After Cash, I think everything's back up in the air here.
It's almost crazy to think, too, that if we go back to Overpass for a moment, there were quite a few rounds that looked like Flipside were going to take the lead, run away with it. And in theory, that could have been Flipside 2-0ing NiP, knocking them out of the major, strickening them of their legend spot as well along the way. So that would have been crazy. Thankfully for NiP, that did not happen, and they kept it together in the first map, but now here going to map number 3, to be honest, looking at results, at least for the past month or so on LAN, this is not a great map for either team. NiP has lost it 2 times, both at DreamHack Summer to Immortals and Godsend, and as for Flipside, they got 16-2'd by Na'Vi at E-League.
And this is the one thing I'm going to be curious about if we see, is how much could Blade put work into this map? Would you expect to face it? All right, Freiburg's getting pumped up. Yeah, it's like, how much would you expect to face coming, against NiP here? Is this one of the maps you'd expect? Not so sure. But then, it works both ways. Threat, have you put work into Flipside? I know that Threat will often look through things. I remember talking to Pimp about this when Pimp was in a team where always have to push, apps, especially on this map, a apartment coming through the Palace area. He knew that they would already read into that, so they had to change everything up. Threat does do insane amounts of homework on this map. But anyway, we are live. Flipside on the T side, NiP on the CT side. This is the final game between these two to find out who will be making it forward. And well, already we have a bit of a game plan in mind.
For Flipside, it's going to be very direct into the A-bomb site. 3 players also pushing from the Palace out on the site, and it's Get Right to try and watch things from the box. Firebox in a little bit further back too. They've got someone watching. Get Right just gets destroyed. Exist is there to find a quick trade, however, as he takes down Waylander, but site control has been gained. And now NiP has to look for a retake. Exist, gonna start it off well with a shot on Ashara.
That's brilliant. That's even before the retake begins. They still have the smoke on Freiburg, so there's opportunities aplenty here for NiP. However, World Edit almost is the kind of ace up their sleeve. He has the Tech 9 still. A dangerous crossfire position for Markov, but it pays off, and then some. Finds up the follow towards Freiburg. Goes for more, and he gets it. Forrest goes down. Sick round coming out from Flipside. Perfect start. And NiP, you're not going to get an easy run at this one.
You can hear the raw emotion right now for Flipside. I don't think they'd ever consider they would get this close in a match versus NiP. They are bringing the heat right now, and they've just won the pistol.
2% of people at home thought they'd get this far. That's the point of this. This is them going against all the odds. Sure, it's the pistol, it's the start, but it is a big start for these guys emotionally, mentally. They've got to get that ball rolling. And for NiP, not getting a good start, you get that worry in the back of your mind. This can't be like that previous map. It can't be. We're better than that. But again, let's see how it goes. 1 rifle being purchased, 2 UMPs, the Tech 9 and another SMG there for Blade. So a different approach here. Coming out from Flipside, previously it was that kind of set play towards A through Palace with 2 coming out through ramp. This time you got a pinch towards mid. Blade can be looking towards connector, trying to apply some pressure there, deny anyone some early peaks. However, Exist, Get Right, and Pit also playing around this area, so a good crossfire set between these guys. This could get costly if they went A, but no. They're heading B. Markov and Waylander are en route.
Freiburg gets some good damage on Ashara. The problem is, though, is that all the defenses for this site are gone, and you have to force the rotate now from NiP. Moving in, a very ballsy move from Shara, to be honest, peeking inside of the window room with only 8 HP, but somehow he makes it out alive. And again, this round, it's done. There's no way NiP are getting any sort of pressure back into that bomb site. They can maybe surprise, but Shara, again, with just that 8 HP, shutting down Get Right. And the final 3, I think at the very least, will look to kill him, which is going to be accomplished there. Has to go and lay down for a nap. But that's going to be about all they grab in this round. Flipside will be making out of it with more than likely having 4 of their players alive.
Doubt they'll be able to get much. Pit's still desperately looking. I wonder if he's going to try and get towards that UMP, but Blade is keeping in mind there's going to be players around mid. Forrest added to the kill count. Pit desperately trying to find that UMP, and he can't find it. Oh, and he gets killed. No. He tried, I guess. You might as well try for something in that one, but yeah, not going to get a single lick of luck out of that. So 2 rounds back-to-back now, Flipside. Good position going forward. Shara building up a nice economy early on, 5.4K already sitting in his bank. He can go straight into that rifle, so hopefully for him, he can just keep hold of that, build it through, allow the likes of World Edit, Blade, and Waylander now to take the forefront. As NiP, look at their money. It's down in the dumps.
Not necessarily like a big deal that they end up losing Pit at the end of that round, because it's just like a P250 that he loses, but again, not really going to be able to help them out in terms of doing any damage in this round either, since it was a very light, only dropping 1 player from Flipside, and that was a bit of a difference in that we were always seeing NiP find some trades even on their eco rounds back on cash. So this starting off here with 4 left alive from Flipside could prove to be a bad omen. Obviously, though, still very early to tell for that sort of thing.
And the one thing I like about Flipside is the way they control mid. It's an attribute you generally give over towards the likes of Na'Vi as well, is that kind of mid-control dominance there. Really beautiful play, all-encompassing play. But it looks like NiP are kind of aware of this, and they're just saying, all right, you take mid, we'll play the choke points. And that's exactly what they're doing here. This crossfire could have come up with the goods, but instantly just dismantled. Forrest gets at least 1 with the USPS, but this is one of those rounds.
Exist goes hunting too, but a few too many bullets, and he ends up running out of ammo, so has to run away, and WorldEdit will easily punish that. Now it's just Freiburg, but I don't think they're fully aware of where he's playing from just now inside of the jungle area. Nobody spotted for him. He may catch a surprise against 1 or 2 players, but they have a reaction shot there. Tries to take down Shara, succeeds, and almost gets a second. He will still, though, be shut down at the end of the day, and it's the 3-0 start that we expect from Flipside after the pistol victory.
And coming back to the desk at the very start of this game, prior to the kind of games being played out, the fact is that generally NiP had been very clean on their pistols, which allowed them such a great economy position going forward. However, this time around, they've been struggling a little on that. But anyway, this is the round we're looking forward to. Forrest picking up the AWP first and foremostly here on the CT side. And now WorldEdit as well, going to be his opposing number. So a little bit of a mid-smoke going to come out from Shara. Going to allow a little bit of play towards it, get them out nice and quickly. And let's see who's waiting. Forrest is watching the push-up, but you can see instantly in the back of Flipside's mind, are they going to go for a little bit of aggression? Let's just be, just in case. Let's see if anything comes out of this. However, NiP being respectful of this, and again, not really challenging out in mid, pretty much saying, take it over, do what you want. We'll stop you on the sites, or at least, well, we hope to.
Now for Flipside, they're taking that mid control early. This is oftentimes a contention point for many teams is, okay, we can get mid control easily, but it's how do we get beyond this? How do we find ourselves getting onto Cat? How do we push in through the connector and whatnot? This is going to be the big test for them, is finding the ways out of that and then getting onto either the A or B bomb site.
The one thing I like that kind of goes maybe towards, your more Dignitas's and such, is they have that really nice smoke from behind those boxes that goes to the opposing side of connector, so they can make a really quick play off the back. And I know Shara can do it as well, so wondering if that comes a factor later. They don't have that to work with now, so straight fights might be the only option. And look at the absolute guts on WorldEdit to go for that fight, and he wins it. Pit gets wrecked, and then Freiburg responds though. That's back in the game for NiP here now. 3v2, it means that Flipside are down in the numbers, but Waylander is not done fighting just yet. Finally, the last breath will be taken away from him. It's down to Markov in a 1v2. Big
mistake in not watching out for that cat push there. Freiburg immediately turned the round on its head after those first kills came out. It's just Markov now. He does still have a decent amount of time to play with, though, at 30 seconds and having the bomb this close to the A site, too. And the 1-on-2, the smoke's going to come out inside of connector. We give credence to the fact that he may be hanging out in mid somewhere, so we can see the attention already being drawn from Forrest over in that direction. But still, no one meeting either side just yet. And he is going to favor heading over here inside of A. And we'll try to get control to make sure nobody pushes out from jungle and takes him down.
He's got a good chance here. That molly could have landed
right
across. There we go. No! Forrest denies him on the way through. That must have been a dangerous peek there from Forrest. He's down to 45 HP, but he might have just been able to see through the smoke, possibly. I'm not too sure. I'd like to watch that back if possible at some point. But this was the turning point, let's be honest. That mid lockdown finally came through, but that was on a nice edge again. It does put NiP in a good spot here, but Get Right with an interesting purchase.
The timer was so low at the end of there, too, that Forrest had to have known he was trying to get that molly so he could get himself onto the site quickly and then force the plant. So he just takes the risk on jumping through the Molotov there and finds the headshot promptly. So nicely played by Forrest. Gets the mind read, and Leslie takes down the final player from Flipside without too much trouble.
Ooh, but now Get Right keeps pushing. Oh, okay, didn't push too deep towards Ram, but he could have actually seen the bomb if he went all the way around. That was dropped off right at the back of Ram, so pretty far down. You have to commit almost fully, but Get Right wants to try and stay relevant to this round as much as he can with this MP9. Now he's sitting in towards Ninja, in towards Dark, and sure, you can actually do some work from that. He doesn't have any flashes, though, so he can't really set himself up to maybe punish that Tetris area. And the problem is that if those two players from mid split in, he's going to be pinched, so he has to make sure he becomes fundamental in this round as much as he can. However, supporting you got Forrest over by CT, and it looks like Flipside are looking like an A hit coming in eventually, but Markov's still lurking around. Shah is still by mid. It's not coming just yet. WorldEdit, though, stepping towards the right direction.
And now WorldEdit looking to make his mark into the A site to start something here for the members of Flipside. They haven't really done a whole lot in terms of noise or just in terms of getting any map progress to begin with here, but they have them lined up. There's the shot from WorldEdit. Forrest creeping out a bit too far from the ticket booth, but now Get Right up close. Finds the trade against WorldEdit, eliminating him.
They only had one smoke as well by the time they made this hit, but already Forrest is peeking out, allows them back into it. Look at this trade out. Waylander comes barreling in, 2 back-to-back, and now Pit and Freiburg have to deal with what remains. A great plant by Blade will set up Shara to be very relevant to this round. Flash goes out, he's going to adjust around, gets away scot-free, even finds the AWP. They might have caught a glimpse, but he goes back for more.
Shara trying to help out a bit too, gets some great damage, finishing off Pit, and then Blade with the AWP shot from around the corner. There you go, Flipside. And that's not only going to put them back in the lead, but it's going to upset the economy again from the Ninjas. They're broke.
I don't know. I wish that Forrest wasn't facing such an open angle on that. No one was facing ramp, considering Get Right couldn't get that close. It just gave it away. Flipside had no smokes left. Of course, they didn't know that on the NiP side, but If only they'd waited a couple more seconds, played a little bit more cautiously, they might have had something there. But again, as you said, this has snapped the economy in half for NiP. They're back down to just, this is an actual clean eco. We have an actual eco, Blue. I'm actually excited for a real eco.
Nothing being picked up at all for NiP this round.
It's a rarity.
Yes, 4 USPs and the single P2K sitting on Freiburg. Now they wait and wait. A little bit cautious there, but takes down Pit. Not taking a single hit. It's a nice run. And then we'll see them continuing onwards from that. Shara taking down Forest. As to be kind of expected here, this is already turning into a very straightforward round.
And the scary thing is, right, because it... Come back to that. There we go. Clean round. But yeah, the scary thing in my mind is Flipside look really good here. And NiP look like they've taken a big confidence hit from that previous map. I can't believe there's an instance, and I know this sounds bad because you're meant to kind of just stay neutral to this, but it's just crazy in the back of my mind, considering the maps we had, the NiP won't progress further if it keeps up like this. That's the terrifying thing, and I can take nothing away from Flipside. They have deserved this and then some if they close out after that work on Cash, how they're playing now on Mirage, but it's just that really sour point the back of my throat at this point. This may come through, but let's find out if this keeps up. Again, we're on to the CZs. The money was a double eco pretty much coming out from NiP. Their money is absolute trash here. So if they can find something, brilliant. That almost was a good start, but still, these shots are just landing back to back here. Flipside are really playing a hot game of CS right now. Pit, how much can you achieve with P250?
These bits of aggression coming out for NiP are just not working at all right now that they try to do on these eco rounds. It's already down to Freiburg and Pit. Both of them have about 30 to 35 HP each, and Freiburg's case down at 24. But here's the thing, going back to the topic you were just discussing before, because this round's probably going to wrap pretty easily. Pit may surprise with 1 kill, but that's generally all I'm expecting. You already mentioned it before when we started this game. Since they lost the pistol, there is that thought looming in the back of their mind. And that's a bit of a mental battle that all these players go through in this sort of a situation. Guys, like, could we really drop out here against Flipside of all teams as well? And that's definitely something that could be affecting him right now. We've already seen, we haven't really seen a whole lot from Pit this game so far. He's kind of dropped off big time from what we're seeing in the first map. And again, when he tries to walk outside of the palace, Flipside are expecting him exactly. There's 3 players looking in his direction and they just destroy him.
And this is the thing, right? You along that sentiment, you've got to say that people of NiP's caliber should be able to handle this. Should. Yeah, I'd excuse Pit to a degree. That's the thing. I'd say, okay, he's still new to these circumstances. He's still not played at that major level. This is a big platform for him. However, he's playing okay. But that's not the Pit impact we want. We want to see the sick play coming out. Now we're back on the buy. He's got the op this time, not Forest, so an adjustment there as well. But Flipside have everything. They have that full play. But now, is this going to be a default A coming out? I'm kind of wondering if it is. Markov often will just play through underpass, take his time. Get right, though. Either could do wonders or just fall apart. It's very hit and miss, this. A deep smoke going to come out from him, just kind of underhand throw it.
Using a lot of utility there very early on. Threw out a molly initially, pop flashed over the top, and then smoked it off. Didn't see a single player Flipside in the process. So he's used quite a bit of that. And I mean, you look at the rest of the team, they don't have a whole lot. So that was used, and it didn't really gain all that much from it, except holding back a possible early push from Flipside, which didn't really look like they were going for that anyway.
And we have the, not necessarily default smokes, but pretty much a traditional A hit about to come into place. Waylander going to try and get the molly down towards Ninja, which is actually going to flush out Get Right if possible. Get Right is still alive, though. Going to have to push out pretty soon. And Flipside, waiting. They put the smokes down, and now they wait. Now they want to punish. Get Right sprays in wildly, gets nothing, fully flashed up now. He could be under severe scrutiny. Waylander takes the fight, and he wins it. Here comes the rest of the pressure. This is where NiP need to fight.
Pit finding a first pickup there. Markelov is going to come on the lurk towards the B bomb site, and they are trying to wrap this now. There's still 40 seconds left in this round as Markelov has jumped in. He still has to win this battle with Freiburg, and not only that, but there are rotations on the way very quickly. Forest. The position from Forest right now. He could do some huge damage if nobody checks beneath it. This is going to be massive now. Lining it up, 2 quick kills from him, and he's got World Edit in the corner, down to 9 HP. Trying to be a bit careful there to make sure there isn't a final player from Flipside, but Forest might have just saved the round.
And it's not Snax' Wonderland anymore. It is Forest, at least for this round. And now NiP get another one on the board, finally slowing it down. And that was on a nice edge, though. You got to feel after, you know, you saw Waylander finding some impact there, a bit of a trade back and forth. They slowed down on that A hit and they adjusted. So Flipside confident in the fact they can run this map around, but NiP keeping it strong. A nice, kind of almost clairvoyant rotate, quickly getting themselves over towards that B site as fast as they could, putting bodies into it. Forest with a great rotate as well, catching them off guard. So they're able to keep the money into this one. They still have enough to go for a good buy here, NiP. Loads of mollies, loads of smokes. This is what they want. But again, that mid attention's been working well. Not much of a fight going down towards it from NiP, not much aggression either. They've just been kind of sitting back here.
Volley wasted early in the round. It looks like it bounced off the ground, so they have to reapply it to the back of the boxes there since it doesn't actually plume and spread over there for the NiP guys. So one of them is going to get wasted, and now they've only got a single one left on Exist. As we look at the rest of Flipside, though, they're going to leap back down. We'll see where they decide to take it on this round, because right now they're remaining very spread out in hopes of finding a pick against NiP early in the round.
Yep. Trying to bait out some shots, and careful what you wish for at this point. You've got 3 eyes trained very close to where you are, but it's a matter of patience now. And Forest, he's not liking that. He does eventually back away, not going to risk that smoke kind of dissipating prior to him moving to a better spot. So giving up mid again to some aspect, but holding those integral points, maybe giving Flipside just enough rope to hang themselves with here, but we'll find out. Forest still has to be big in this one. The flash has come out. He's spotted out Shara, but there's the tap he wanted. Takes him down, and an early advantage now. But look at this B pressure starting to build. Freiburg not playing an initial spot kind of role. He's playing from short here, so he's got to be careful. Come back into it. Lovely angle. Just outdoing Markelov. Will he expect the follow-up, though? That's still well dead it.
And all of a sudden, NiP seems to be back in great form here, with Flipside slowing things down. It's not working too good for them now, and it's World Edit's the last player left alive. He's only got 20 seconds on the clock, so Forest is either going to get denied by World Edit, or he's going to get an easy tap to the back of the head to end the round here. Either way, it's going to be a third one for NiP, and they're going to start this comeback quite nicely. I'm actually amazed no one has found World Edit yet. Neither of them checking inside, but it looks like they're lurching over towards his direction now. He's going to come in from either side, firing off the shots, and it'll be Freiburg that finds the kill. So no saves at all for Flipside, and a third round indeed for NiP.
Okay. It's small steps, baby steps. 2 rounds now back to back, that's it. But it's enough to put some money into a bad spot for Flipside at least. That's the one benefit to this one. Ideally, plants would be brilliant. I'm wondering if we see that kind of split on the site where you can split up A to be more favorable to pistols, where you can kind of just put yourself in that spot, but we'll find out. There's a lot of times we've played with here, and Flipside obviously noted for their kind of tactical ability that they do like to go for those kind of really nice set pieces. This could be one of them. Forest not being too attentive towards B, kind of leaving Freiburg very much to handle what comes his way, and it's been working out just fine so far. Freiburg not really letting them down. But with 3 smokes, a hell of a lot of flashes, this could be quite the barrage towards that B site if Freiburg's not ready and waiting. Going to expend 1 smoke towards it himself, and buys about 15 seconds off the back.
Flipside all stacked up, ready to push into the B-bomb site, but in the meantime, Forest already having himself a position on Cat. He's going to be a very good spot to go for a quick rotation, and plenty more of the guys from NiP are also hanging out just generally around middle, so this is going to get rough for Flipside. They need to find quick kills, destroy the initial defenders very fast, and then try to block off access for the rest. They have these smokes. They're going to toss a lot of them in now, and the execute will begin.
They're partially blinded on the CT side, which has allowed a little bit of room to work. And look at it, Markelov catches out Forest, but Freiburg gets an accidental one through smoke. The counter flashes come out, and it's setting up Freiburg perfectly to just sweep them aside. Nicely done by NiP. A good round for them. They needed a clean round. They need to start feeling confident in what's going on more than anything, but Freiburg just handling what's coming his way. So that little follow-up to Shara, call it luck, call it what you want. It happened, and it came out well for the NiP side.
Casual 4K from Freiburg there,
Nice
almost the ace too, but
Nice
teammate runs in and steals it from him, but a bit of Flipside's mistake there, not being able to check in that direction. If they'd taken him down, like they find that first kill very quickly. If they followed up onto him, that's what was needed to start the take, basically, and then holding it from there. They got 2 extra guns, could have gone a different direction, but Freiburg stops it in its tracks.
They isolated pretty much every other spot, just not that one really. So bit of a shame, but happened nonetheless. Now going into this one, we have the full buy coming out. Well, a good enough buy to say the least. Shara does have a Galil, but we'll see what he can do. He's generally been just a pressure point towards mid so far, but a little more attentive from NiP towards that mid section now. Exists pulling himself up towards Connector. But you've got to also give credit to Waylander here. He's been a real nuisance through that role in Palace, keeping players always present towards A, making it tough work. But Pitt now has finally a bit of an open chance here. Will he take the straight up fight with World Edit? And will World Edit do the same to him?
Start to creep up now. Pitt is waiting for these players to peek around the corner. World Edit going to look for the shot. Actually, it's a bit early on the shot from Pitt. Damage connects on the world at it, but because Pit fires the shot a bit too early there, he survives the encounter. Pit, though, not as lucky when he's pushed by Blade from underneath. He's dropped to 7 HP now. There's Char with a first pickup, but Exist quick on the trade and connector.
Yeah, good stuff actually from Forest there. Even though he kind of just like ended up dying, it allowed Exist to come back into it, slow them down, make this pinch become even more deadly because look who's taking up the mantle. Freiburg, what on earth? Just walks in towards World Edit. That gives Flipside every opportunity now to build back into this round. Pit is not on the B site. He's adjusted towards short. Now he's hearing the steps.
Yeah, he definitely should have heard the player going through underpass, so he knows the pressure is going to be coming in through the apartments. Should have been able to hear quite a few of the players too, so he should have a good idea as to how many of them are pushing in, but also keep in mind Waylander coming into the flank. That won't matter though if Pit just destroys all of them. He's only got 7 HP, but he's buying time for players like Exist to get into a position. Also going to be having more joining the party. Look at this, Get Right walks right up World and it's not ready for him. It's a free kill. Pit trying to hold this Blade to Waylander though. There's that flank we were talking about earlier with Waylander. He moves in and now it's just Get Right who opened the flank. First kill trying to come out from him. He's having trouble spraying it though. And as Blade distracts, Waylander finishes it off. It'll be another round for Flipside here, and an absolutely chaotic one at that.
I was about to say Waylander was a little too late to the party then, but I will just eat my words. What a brilliant bit of play coming out from Flipside. What looked like it was over and done with for them seems to be holding on, and what a match we have on our hands. Flipside 7-4 on NiP. This is unreal, NiP. This was your set of maps. This was your bit of play to have, and this is what we're seeing. So mid-smoke's going to come out. Got a couple into play already, and Wilder is going to take a little bit of a lurch there, but Pit's not really having much of a good time, let's say it that way, towards mid at the moment. And again, this looks like one of those B hits that have been coming through, at least for now. Could change up depending on success throughout this map.
Markelov just trying to watch out for any early aggression through the apartments, but he's not going to be catching any of it. The real progress for our flip side is going to start here in the middle if they can get that control. NiP initially were giving it over to them in the early rounds, but they've grown much more aggressive now that they can give Pit the up. He's actually not going to be watching all that much from the window, as you can see. His focus is on underpass, since Flipside have been using that quite a bit in the past couple of rounds. But still, it's very restrained. Right now, very controlled from Flipside, not wanting to get too aggressive just yet.
1 minute to go. The mid presence about to be shown. Pop flash comes out. Sharo modded it, swing through. Blade now comes into the action. It's choreographed perfectly between these guys. Bit of a different play coming out from Forest. Just gonna be trying to watch a little kind of area just underneath window. We've got to be careful now of Connector. They don't have full eyes onto it. Forest is going to take the fight off the back of the flash. Goes in for the spray and just gets outdone. Simply outdone, but Freiburg going to trade out effectively. There's Get Right to pick up the pieces. Finally, they lock this one down, but they know that Waylander's going to be coming out from Palace, but will they expect him on the side? No, they don't. It's back to a 2v2, Blue.
These change-ups from Flipside continue to catch the Ninjas off guard, and now it's going to work again, bringing things down to an even 2-on-2. They're really focused on someone being behind ticket box. They smoked it, they mollied it. There's no one there, so that's a lot of utility gone. And now the only stuff they have left is Waylander with 2 flashbangs. Those mollies could have been used to box these players in connector off. Shots coming through, both of them holding, but Waylander just gives himself away to Exist as he walks up the staircase. Markelov, the last one alive. They know he's back here. As he moves out, he grabs the first one, though nobody's checking behind that box. He's low, 12 HP, trying to run away now, and as Exist moves in, he's still being cautious about this. A lot of time being wasted, but Markelov is going to play this back, play it cautiously, wait until he presses him, but Exist finds the shot. With 11 HP left, he's going to clutch it out for NiP, and they'll find a 5th round.
5-7 now. NiP keeping this one within a grasp. It's a bit of a stretch, but they're certainly there. But on the other side, look at the money now for Flipside. It's not good. They're back down a little bit worse off on the buy. Can go for some Tech-9s, look at a bit of armor if they fancy, but we'll see. They're not exactly all into that kind of forcing up play, so it is a very light purchase into this one for themselves. Tech-9s with a little bit of utility, so yeah, some flashes, a smoke or two. And hell, they could actually try and make a play out of this B site. They did it before, but I'm wondering if maybe Forrest is be a little bit closer towards that B site, especially if he heard any steps, and I don't think he did.
Now Flipside, again, lining up for a very quick take over towards the B-bomb site. 4 out of 5 of their players here with Blade hanging out right now in the middle cubby. Down to the Tech-9s and Deagle investment in the case of Waylander, but there's no armor behind a single player. It's going to be quick. It's going to be straightforward. They're going to try to roll into the site. Forrest grabbing the first kill with a quick trade coming out from Waylander. Forrest, though, is still alive and well here, but not for long. Waylander picking up a rifle, finding another kill with it, but the CT's quick to move back in. Get Right and Exist finding 2 more kills. It's just on Blade. Now Exist finds it, but hold on. Blade's found a pickup there. Pit is ready, though, and he controls the situation, shutting down Blade before he can do anything else.
3 down, get right pretty low. That was starting to look pretty tasty for Flipside, if I'm completely honest with you. 6-7, we're back on the bye now for Flipside. This is their chance again to take the pace into their hands. They have the AWP. They've been extremely successful through mid. Whether they've been taking themselves to B or A, who knows? It doesn't matter. It seems that these players on the kind of flex positions, you know, your Markelovs over by B, your Waylander towards A, have been so good at what they've been doing, but this time a bit of a different start here. Well, did it going for a quick pick, and he actually might just get it. Get right, walks right into him. That's a perfect sitter to just be given right over. He's going to escape as well. No further threat to be found, and that's a completely perfect beginning here for Flipside.
Flipside, nicely done. Again, punishing that aggression from Get Right that we had been seeing for quite a bit, actually, and it's been pretty hit or miss so far. This time, going to be a miss. And they'll control themselves now, falling back from the A hit entirely and grouping up again to probably go for some mid control or apartments controls. They can then transfer over into the B-bomb site. Yeah,
and you're spot on, though, that these guys can, if you look at NiP, they know that, Flipside are going to be taking their time. There's always that slow build-up. They can easily retain some of that utility. They shouldn't be losing out too early, but that always gives the danger over towards someone like Waylander going, well, let me go for a fast pick, just because I have the spawn, just because I have the chance to. Why not? And well, for NiP, it looks like a gamble's come through here, Blue. They've put a lot of players towards A, and finally evening up the score is Pitt punishing Waylander.
Waylander trying to sneak his way outside of the Palace, but that's been expected now. So even if we had seen Pitt not connect that shot, there was at least 2 more players around the corner ready to do the same. And there's indecision from Flipside. We've seen how badly this has punished them. Go back to the last round on Overpass. This indecision caused them to lose the map outright and not take it into OT, and we're seeing it again here.
I'm worried that no one's watching Connector. Pitt's finally got there, but they did leave so much open time, and look how vulnerable Forest and Exist would be. But he's there now, but he can't focus on it solely, which means that Shara and Blade can have a huge impact here. The damage has to come out from these two right about now. Markov denies Forest. Pitt finally deals with what was building through that connector, but now here comes Shara, and Shara will do the work. But will they expect this? He waits so patiently, finds one, Freiburg comes in, and now it's down to Shara in the 1v1 against Freiburg, but look at the time.
10 seconds left on the clock. Shara's going to try to push forward. He just wants to take this. 5 seconds on the clock. No, I don't think he started it in time, and he even realizes it. So a bit of a mess up there, and oh, that actually...
Jesus, Freiburg.
If Freiburg had been a little bit more to the left, that would have been an interesting end of the round, but doesn't end up happening there, and NiP do win it out by time. 7-7. It'll be tied going into the final round of the half. Pitt again here, though, showing some good stuff, and in this entire set so far, he's been part of the big reasons to why NiP is still in this, to be honest.
Yeah, even at the beginning of this game, we did say that he's been not quite the Pitt we were expecting, but then he started to hit some of these kind of very integral shots. It's not just the ones, you know, that fill out the scoreboard, it's the ones that get you back into a nice 4v4 or get you back into these rounds. So credit to him, and finally a bit of aggression coming out, but I wonder how that's going to be met. Forest taking a wander up towards the top of mid. It's Blade and it's Shara who's going to be on the receiving end, but a 1-for-1 trade out. But the information gathered, how will this further be exploited now by Flipside?
Now for Flipside, again, already losing one of their players, but the same against NiP. Get Right, though, finally finding some strides here with that bit of aggression. Moves out, shuts down World Edit. And the final 3 from Flipside, well, again, this is probably going to cause a lot of hesitation for these players. Trying to stack up mid. Shard is looking for someone to get over-aggressive and look for kills there. Markelov is hunting down below in the underpass to punish a player that may be in towards a window. And for Waylander, he'll be joining his teammate.
I wonder how this one's going to go down. Shara is the integral point for me. He's the influential one. He's got the rifle. Everyone else has Tech 9s and a touch of utility, so they can build around him. They can still do damage, don't get me wrong, but he has to be the one to land these shots, really. 54 seconds. No one's actually... Oh, they whiff the molly there towards window. Not what you want. Gonna have to expend the smoke on towards that. Shara now gonna just pop the flash over. No one's actually watching the push through connector, so that's gonna give an opportunity to either get up short or actually play connector itself. It means that NiP are dug in on these sites.
Now for Flipside, Markelov already trying to check in the A-bomb site. Look at how held back to NiP are. If they actually go in towards A, they might be able to get it for free with the exception of possibly Get Right holding them, but being a lot more cautious. Most of the defenses are focused on the B-bomb site. Timer again for Flipside here on this T side, 20 seconds left.
Markelov can stop the rotate, allowing the other two to pull through. He knows that there's no one that close by. It's just the threat of what's on site now. They won't expect Get Right to be here instantly. They have to check everything else. So 10 seconds. They have to make a bit of a dry hit out of this, and they have one flash on Shara. The bomb going down as we speak. Now left into a 4v3. They let the bomb go down.
Nobody's checking towards Ticket Booth, though, is the big problem. And the nade just lurches right over. Get Right finds some big damage with that one, but he himself, too. It's returned over towards him. These guys are trying to hold this now, but NiP are having some trouble finding a way back in the site. They're taking huge amounts of damage. Shara finding Pitt. Waylander, he's caught off by Exist. Wild push, though. And Shara still holding, finds another pickup here, looking for a second against Exist. But as Freiburg pushes in, he may meet the doom against Shara. Exist finds that pickup, and now it's just Markelov tapping away with the Tech 9, but the defuse is already coming in. He tries to move out. He's got to close it out. 1 second left, but he finds the shot. Markelov with a huge clutch, and we will see them lead things at the end of the first half. 8-7 for these guys. They're going to jump on the defense, and we'll see if they can upset in huge fashion against NiP.
Against the odds, Flipside have turned the hell up today. A huge performance thus far. NiP struggling a little to get off to a good start here, but bringing it back towards the end. But Markelov having a huge impact, meaning Flipside keep themselves in a good spot here, but this is not done. The Fat Lady has not sung just yet, and I'm not all feeling that musical blue, but NiP have a shot here, but it's the second half coming in. What are your predictions on this one?
I don't even know at this point. I mean, it's way too hard to call. Regardless of the outcome of this one, though, I'm sure Flipside have earned a huge amount of respect just in the huge fight that they have put up against NiP here. This is definitely not the Flipside that I have ever seen before in any other matchups, and they're bringing a huge amount of power that I can just repeat myself, I've never seen before from these players.
You see, the thing is, you see glimpses, and this is what everyone looks at. When people look at the Flipside side, there's always that kind of precursor of, imagine if all those big guns turned up. What if they had a good game? What if they had that tactical element from Blade combined with this? And you think, oh, that could be quite a deadly team. But it doesn't generally happen. It doesn't generally happen in the big games. But we're seeing something here that's pretty darn incredible. But NiP have every shot at this. This is still a great map for them. This is still NiP. At no point did anyone believe this was getting to the third map. At no point did anyone expect it to be this close. We're going to find out how it goes down now. We are live into the second half here. NiP trailing behind by 1 round, but it's their turn on the T side. Let's see if they can pull this one back. Getting
into the pistol round now. NiP continue to move their players pretty straightforward now to the entrance, the T ramp of the A bomb site. You can see Waylander as well. Going to be trying to watch out for that from ticket booth, but he'll be smoked out. Can't really see all that much. Gets a bit aggressive there, but possibly leaving himself into doom. He does spot the take, but now the rest of Flipside, they can't really do a lot about this. They kind of have to hand over control, and Blade, well, he's stuck in connector, so he's going to go down to Pit.
And look at the aggression throughout this map. Get right, Pit, Forest instantly going these quite aggressive holds, like instantly looking for fights. That's going to get in the mindset of Flipside. Pit gonna watch that rotate, not gonna allow anyone through. It's allowed a path though through CT, and now Welded is creating his own. Get right gets overrun. Now Freiburg's in a little bit of a spot here. He can't take a clean fight. He's got people left, right, and center. He knows he's got support from jungle. Waits for it well, but Welded is still going, as is Shara. We're down to a 2v3, and my word, Marco finds Pit, and now Exist mollied out. The plant is for him, but he can barely see it. He gets the tag on one. It's not enough. Markelov's there. The defuse comes through.
Who just
and
screamed?
Flipside.
Someone just shrieked, it seemed like there, but what an incredible retake there from Flipside moving in, and World at it too, having some very great pickups after, I mean, the last 2 maps he's been absolutely incredible, but for that first half he just hasn't been as prevalent, I think he has, as we've seen him in those previous 2 maps, but immediately correcting us wrong there in that pistol round, brings a huge performance, and now again, they get to hold their lead, they get to keep it going. into the future here, and judging from the buy from NiP, they're not going to try to press it here. They're focusing on that third round.
Where's that grit? Where's that determination, NiP? This is what you need to find now. You are being challenged by a team who wants this more than anything. That's as simple as this is. They're playing a game above what anyone expected. Now it's your turn to find a response back. 1 minute and 36 into this round. We've got plenty of time to play with. And it looks like a posture towards B to begin with. However, that could be just changed up on the, as quick as you like. Ideally, a plant would be perfect. If they could get that out of this one, excellent. But NiP know that's going to be tough, especially likes of Shara spotting out B so consistently. Blade pulling himself over. You got Markelov on short. This won't be an easy round to claim, or at least get a bomb plant from.
All grouping up now on the underpass, looking to take that easy control of middle. But stopping them will be Markelov, or at least attempting to stop them. It's going to be him. Starting to push out now, and Markelov watching from the top of Catwalk. Blade pushing out too. He's going to get a big spot on this one. He's got to be careful to make sure he's not surprised. Notices the rapid amount of players pushing their way out here, so does decide to fall back into the bomb site. And it's kind of the same story for Markelov, although he's going to be hit down to 44 HP, but returns a kill onto Exist. Not only this, but he repeaks and shuts down Forest, and now Blade coming in. Oh no, he actually messes that up. And unfortunately, he'll be taken down by Freiburg.
They're going to recover that gun as well. The boost was already underway. You might as well just kind of commit to it at that point. So, gun to hand for Freiburg. Still, ideally a plant could really supplement their economy, but with Shara still around, Markelov not too far off either. This is quite tough. This, obviously, Markelov's attention is split between the window and B, but Shara purely dedicated here. But Freiburg and Pitt going to be working their way through. Get Right a little hesitant to go for this one. He knows that he was waiting for the timing to try and get the pinch, and there it is. Get Right lands a bit of a stunner towards Shara. Now Markelov watching the cross. Get Right has the bomb, throws it through. But I don't think they've got time. He's going to make the run for it now. 6 seconds left. And Markelov knows this. He's instantly going on the push. Pitt trying to play defense, can't make it happen. And there's Flipside keeping this one in check. 2 losses for them, but a round is the important factor now.
No plant found there either, so they're not necessarily going to get any extra cash from that one, which means utility is going to be a bit light for some of the guys on NiP coming into this force-up round. But it's not too bad. AKs, they still get smokes on basically everybody except for Forest and Flashbangs. It's just going to be missing things like Molotovs and HG grenades to try and force more adamant players from Flipside from pushing out of their usual positions. But getting into it though, most of NiP have decided to move over here towards A main again, getting ready to line up some very quick smokes by the looks of it too. And at the moment, most of the focus from Flipside is in mid, which means Waylander's going to have to come out in a big way.
All right, Waylander, good luck. He's right on the edge of the smoke, so if they don't check this, he's actually going to have a good time. And there we go, there's the first, plows right in. He's surrounded, but still alive, finally gets found, but it buys time. And that's essential to this round. The rotates now come through. The smokes are far from perfect. There's a huge gap, unless they decide to take the fight, which they are. That was the whole point of it. Freiburg's actually swinging for it. It's a swing and a miss. Wilded denies him, and now the advantage sits, well, it did, with Flipside.
But World Edit hasn't noticed it is that Forest is sitting just at the bottom of the staircase, and as Blade walks in, he's going to be surprised. Forest looking for the second pickup, but World Edit denies it. Takes down Forest, and now in the 2-on-2, the bomb's gone down. It's up to Flipside to make the reaction now. That nade should be a touchdown, and there you go. Shutting out Pitt. All they've got to worry about is Exist, and he is stuck in T-ramp right now. Smoke comes over top of the bomb. Markelov, he'll be safe to push up and start the defuse. Exist knows this, and he can see the peak at the top of the staircase, looking for the spray down to try and shut down Markelov, but he's not going to find it. Markelov survives with 13 HP. Exist looks like he's making it out of this round too, but it doesn't matter because the guys from Flipside have defused the bomb, picked up the round, and are continuing to run away with the scoreline.
This is a huge upset in the making. 11-7 now, Flipside off to an absolute blistering start, already denying what was building back for NiP. A little bit of hope here and there, a little bit of damage done, but not enough. Flipside, are you about to break a lot of hearts? Those NiP fans are going to be in absolute tatters, as will be the team. If this is the case, 2% of you at home thought this was going to go Flipside's way. That's 2% out of everyone. Unbelievable. But again, it's not over yet. There is still rounds to be played. There are still opportunities for NiP to find, but they need to find them soon. And already, a fast start is going to be met by Sheer and out to force. Blade gets overwhelmed, but as does Welded. And here we go. We've got a game on our hands, or at least in this round. But Markelov, the king, who's returned to claim his crown, is still doing work.
Forest with a nice reaction there after Waylander surprised him from the back. He turns it around, shuts him out, and now there's just 2 up and going for the CTs here. Shara and Markelov trying to find their way back in, but Shara's taking a lot of damage. Exist is going to punish him. Markelov's still got a decent amount of utility to work with here as he pushes in, but that nade is certainly not going to help him out. He actually might consider just falling back to save now since he's got all that, and also you can see there too, there's an op sitting on his left. So time to fall back. You let the NiP guys have this round.
We've got to, let's highlight the big difference here, at least for me in that round, is look at the pace that NiP came in with. They just went, all right, let's just take Mitch, just take these quick fights, take the challenge. again, this was something that if you hark back to... 1 second, let's see if Forest is going to get this one away from Markov. Nope. Get right. Do you want to have another attempt? Do you want to have a little go at it? Markov. Oh, that is going to put a big smile on my face, and I can imagine Anders as well, sitting there going, yes, Markov, return to me. But yeah, the pacing that came in from NiP and them was a nice adjustment for me personally. Nice to see them taking those fights, hailing back to when they had that massive downturn in performance. They used to say, you know, well, once they came out of it, Freiburg was quoted as saying, I think in an interview with Scoots actually, we lost that confidence to take those straight up fights. We were being too scared. We were playing too respectful almost. We need to be that aggressive team that knows we can win it. Maybe that can help them get back into this one. Markov does keep the orb. Let's see if he can do anything with it. On the other side, NiP well set into this round.
Moving up, Markov now looking to stop this pressure, but that smoke is going to give the guys from NiP a lot of free movement, and he doesn't want to stick around at all. As soon as those smokes come in, he decides to fall right back. Shara, look at this position he's going to be holding, but it's going to be denied entirely by Pit, pushing his way in through the catwalk there. So far too quick does the control get mounted by NiP in the speed bomb site, and for Flipside, again, there's not a whole lot they can hope to do. Markov still has the op in hand, so better to fall away and save.
Yeah, lovely, lovely stuff from NiP, just all in. Simple as that. And I can hear these guys shouting downstairs. I assume you guys at home can hear it as well. There is a lot of hype around this game for these two, of course. Tournament life on the line here. It's as simple as that. It's a best of 3, and the team who wins it gets to go to the big stadium. They get to sit on that stage and play in front of everyone. They get to keep themselves alive. However, whoever loses, not so much so. So, look at this. They keep Markov on the AWP. He's going to retain that one. But for the other side of things, the more important side of things, at least if you're a NiP fan, is the fact they keep everyone alive. Bomb plant to boot, a good way to keep themselves in this game. 9-11 now, NiP. 2 rounds back-to-back off the back of plants as well. Certainly well needed after what was a bit of a drought.
So an interesting round indeed with only 1 player going down in it. But it's a smart decision made from Flipside to preserve themselves, keep what they can going into the next round. Probably could have afforded to send 1 or 2 players out just to try and do some economical damage against NiP on exits, but they do let them keep it for now, and their money's still low enough to where they can kind of justify that decision. Now going into this one, though, it's still not going to be a full investment from Flipside. We're still not going to see them have enough to be able to go for the buy in this case, so just going to be sticking with the pistols again.
But look at the aggression. That's the difference here. They are just plowing up mid, but Get Right says no. Markov on the support does have a chance. No, he's going to get the follow-up. Markov catches out Freiburg. This could be huge. He's been able to back away. What is going on? And now NiP are falling like flies. It's down to a 2v3. Markov has control here with those 2 frags so far, waiting ever so patiently. In fact, more! And the Beast is getting its meal of the day already. Pit gets absolutely destroyed and now exists in the 1v3. This is a disaster for NiP, and they know it. Flipside, look, they get their round marker towards 12, unless Exist can do something unspeakable.
The op that's been carried for the past 2 rounds like a torch ends up being their beacon now to claim this round against NiP, when everybody except for the player that was holding that op was just on an upgraded pistol, I think P250 at best. And now the other 2 have also recovered AK, so Exist waiting all this time. The guys from Flipside actually have given him full reign over the A bomb site to try and stay spread out, so he'll be able to walk right in, and in theory, he should be able to find a plant as well if he can get a good position. But beyond that, it's the clutch where he's going to have problems.
And I love this control from Flipside. I love the fact that they're giving him this. They're not going to go for those needless fights. That's brilliant discipline. Again, look how far back Shara is. No chance that Exist could get an advantage on that. Blade's going to pull up a little bit closer again. Shara and Blade to a degree can get some access to this now. Exist choosing to stick close to the site. He's going to have to find 3 hit spots. The first gives the position away. And here we go. It's retake time coming in. The molly goes down, and Shara's come up with the goods in this one. But let's be honest here, Markov from the word go played out of his skin in that round, and Flipside continue the trend. They break what NiP were building, and we've got a game on our hands once again, Blue.
And there you have it, Flipside. You can really respect too, and here's the Zeus, by the way, for those that missed it. Forest,
This is
not
my palace.
having the best days there, trying to go outside. You're stuck inside, you're locked in, nowhere to run. So the thing you can really respect on that about Flipside, though, is, as you said, they don't want to take any duels they don't necessarily need to take. And even on the retake, they're very passive. It's a 3v1. You think they can just walk right in and shut him down, but they hold back. They wait till they get his position, and they're even extra safe about it. They molly him out of Firebox so as not to give him a possible lineup opportunity.
So when is the timeout going to be called? Because there has to be a pause on the horizon here soonish. You've got to assume so. We'll find out. That's yet to come. Again, maybe NiP still running through their options. They are going for what looks like a very decisive hit towards A. Again, bearing in mind the Flipside have been only dedicating Waylander here early. Maybe that quick hit could have helped, and the quick play towards mid did actually provide them some good rounds, but here comes the XQ. Waylander flashed out, can't see anything, but neither can the NiP side. They're still trying to clear those close angles, and it's allowed World at the chance to shine, and already it's being dismantled one by one.
Pit trying to turn this into his team's favor now as he picks up a kill onto World Edit, but it is not going to last very long. Waylander finding another one, dropping down onto Exist. Pit and Freiburg, the final two. Pit's out in the open here too, trying to take a battle against someone from Flipside, but they're not handing it over. It's that same passive style that was used on the retake in the last round. They're gonna let Pit roam around the site, but ultimately he's not going to be able to find anything because he has to go into the Lion's Den essentially if he wants to break up any kills.
And those Lions are certainly not sleeping tonight, Blue. They are well up for this one already. Waylander and Shara locking down CT. You've got Blade holding extremely passively towards window, so in case anyone tried to make a sneakier play. Again, so tough here. Freiburg spots one. That was through the box. Okay, nice one, Shara, and another to close it out. Flipside, let's be very real about this one. On the verge of knocking NiP out of the major here. 13-9 now, two back-to-back. There is the pause. I questioned it last round, but wasn't the time. Now it is. The money is not good for NiP. The smiles are gone. This is very serious here, Blue.
Here's the great thing, too, again, attributing itself to the fact that they played so passively, Flipside we're talking about here, because they played so passively, because they suffered so few losses, with just 2 round victories, their economy is already basically established for 1, if not 2 full buys if they start losing rounds again. The only player that's going to be low is Waylander, but he tends to be the player that's more up in front about things anyway. But everybody else, Char's on 6.4, Markeloff's on 5.6, World Edit's at 4.6, and Blade is sitting at 7.6 as well. So these guys have so much money for only winning 2 rounds in a row.
Unreal. The amount of teams now, if you think about it, this major is providing a good couple of upsets, to say the very
Quite
least.
a bit. And just in today alone.
Exactly.
2 matches. Our schedule is destroyed, granted.
Oh, screw the schedule. I'm
pretty sure we were supposed to be like halfway done with the 3rd best of 3 by this point, but...
No, when games are this good, shush, schedule, quiet. This is fine. But this is scary for NiP, and this is the worrying factor, at least in my eyes. That the fact of the matter is that NiP actually recently have been looking exceedingly good. They've been, you know, a little bit worked out to a degree. Of course, you can see it very clearly throughout this one. But you know, the game plans have been coming in with, it's more the mentality that people were extremely into or extremely excited by, that this could be the rebuilding of NiP. But at the end of the day, you want major performances. You need them to kind of support what everyone's thinking and how it's working. And if this doesn't come through, this is a huge upset overall. But Flipside have given us an outstanding performance. It's huge. It shows that, you know, hard work beats talent at the end of the day. You know, NiP have been doing the hard work, but have they worked as hard individually against Flipside? Probably not. You probably didn't sit there and go, all right, let's get those demos down, let's anti-strat this to the absolute nines, because let's remind ourselves of what happened on Cash. That was Flipside giving us the full picture of how much they've done here. And this is a team that we've never seen play to the standard. It's always been a theory-crafted, you know, possibility, but the practicality has never come through. This is the first glimpse of it, Blue.
In this game specifically, too, Markeloff has had a huge step up, and it started kind of at the edge of that last map, but it's been continuing in huge form here into Mirage. Now, though, the unpause has come in. It's going to be a fairly light buy from NiP, as they do need to focus on saving here for one of the next rounds, but that is going to put them in a very dangerous scoreline. Flipside, unless we see an upset here on this just light buy from NiP, are going to be just 2 rounds away from playing at the main event.
Blade's got them all lined up. He spotted them all out, at least 3 of them, so expecting the mid-pinch, and no one stopped him doing that. So already NiP, lucky to get away with their lives to at least this extent so far. Blade takes a lot of damage for that too, so again, kind of resetting the pacing here, but Shara being even more switched on towards that B hit being a possibility, and you can see Blade having to be so careful now.
Shara also falling back to make sure that nobody had shifted away from mid and worked his way into the apartments there, as NiP is still trying to figure out exactly how they want to take this round. So it's so crucial that if they don't outright win it through some miracle, they at the very least do some good damage before ultimately going down. And finding a plant would also be a great send for them too, as they've recently been reset just 2 rounds ago, so their losing bonus is not going to be all that great. They move over towards Connector, quick boost up there to make sure nobody is watching beyond the dark room. And with this now, they're going to try to put some players into the window room, but World Edit, he's waiting for this. Is he going to catch them on such a close-up shot?
All right, World Edit doesn't go for it. They're going to back away, but they're going to hear these steps. They're going to hear the drops from Waylander. Oh, hello. Hello. That's 3. That's 4. Waylander, you absolute was just sexy CS.
They're all headshots too. He can barely see any of them, and he just absolutely decimates the entire playing field for MIP. Granted, it's on an eco round, but still, those shots are impressive nonetheless. Exist, the last one left alive. Waylander will be denied the ace, as Exist puts a stop to it. But still with 10 HP now, 1 on 4, and he doesn't even have control of the bomb. It's going to be a round for Flipside. 14 now.
I don't know when I start believing, Blue. When do I start believing this is going to happen? When is it okay?
Flipside in 16 rounds.
This is just unthinkable scenes coming out, and I'm loving it. It's heartbreaking for NiP, but my word, Flipside, you are putting on a show. We are 2 rounds away from seeing NiP not going any further in the major. This is huge, and this is the turning point if they want to get back into this game. It has to be now or never, and it looks like NiP we're dabbling with picking up the pace here. Already Forest getting extraordinarily close towards that jump-off point towards ramp. You've got the pinch towards mid, Exist, Freiburg, and Pith all there. This could be a bit of a quick hit coming through eventually. Once they put down those smokes, once they make that play come into place, it looks like an A hit's about to happen.
Forest too getting hit early on by this HE grenade, but now they're moving up for mid control. It's going to be a pinch more than likely into the A bomb site, because they have players lined up on the A main approach, but they need to make sure they have coverage in connector roll, and it's so crucial for stopping the main pushing force from coming in there back towards T-Ramp. If he's destabilized, that could lead to something bad, and he has been pushed off. Forest is going to find that first kill. Freiburg following it up with a second. Blade is still alive, back in the direction of Ticket. He finds 2, but Pit and Get Right find 2 as well, and that's going to leave Shar as the last man alive. Moving in, he shuts down Pit. He's got a single flashbang and half of his health pool to pull off this retake now.
You shouldn't be allowed to do this. They're in such good positions. Exist, though, timing is king with him. He hears the step, but he's looking towards mid still. He needs to be careful. He needs to help get right on the crossfire, deny a clean cross here for Shara, but also not allow a 1v1 to happen for himself, and no, he doesn't. Well played by Exist, then just playing safe enough, getting the one on the board, and a team ace coming out for NiP there, every single player picking up a kill. But as you noted before, the money's been pretty treacherous for NiP throughout this, so still, their money not so great. They're going to try and shuffle guns around, make sure everyone can get at least a buy going. But on the other side as well, we're on a, not necessarily a tipping point, but for Flipside, this is a great buy. The ones down the line might not be so much so.
Keep in mind just how crucial that round was for NiP as well. Flipside win that, they're on 15 rounds. You can see even going into this round, NiP had a bargain buy a bit there, tossing around the guns to teammates. Pit is going to have to downgrade to a Galil to give Forest the op. So if that had gone in the direction of Flipside, more than likely NiP would have been completely broken. And that could have just ended the game.
This could be legends falling in a matter of rounds. We'll find out anytime soon. NiP taking a different pace to this, playing more passively, maybe expecting some aggression, but maybe also going for the same sort of hit eventually, keeping in mind that Geralt and Forest are still postured and still looking towards A, but Wilder this time could stop that mid-split, or at least hinder some of the approach, but that molly spreads. Now he has to back off from it. This means that maybe Exist, maybe Pit, maybe Freiburg can have some play towards this one, but look at the real resistance coming in from Flipside. They are so desperate to hold on to this map real estate.
It's that mid control again that NiP consistently are able to get push out against the guys from
Waylander.
the side. But as we can see, Waylander, he's going to be pushed back here after taking a big risk. Survives it, but just barely. 20 HP now, and they're going to push right out. World finding the first kill, but Freiburg, Get Right, and Pit finding 3 more directly after that. 2 left alive for the CTs. Pit with a quick peek inside of the cross space, shuts down Markelov. Shara's got nothing to do. He's got to save.
NiP have found a way. I don't know how. However they came up with that plan in mind, whatever threat felt was working perfectly, how they could play into, you know, opposing Flipside, it's happened. These couple of rounds back-to-back have been that build towards A. They've stopped trying to take those kind of extended fights towards mid. They're focusing themselves in towards the site, and it's working out. This time even more successfully, more players alive, more guns to keep their economy just about clinging on. And this, off the back of it, look at the money for Flipside. Not so perfect after all. This could cause trouble down the line. However, it always feels like it's a step away. It's not far away from this one. And caution being aired again by NiP, not allowing any ninjas to come through this time. And Shara will be able to retain the M4. I don't think Get Right or Forest could ever get close enough to take that away from him. So he'll be perfectly fine to keep that one to hand. And NiP keep themselves in with a bit of a fighting chance in this 11-14. It's not over yet. The dreams are not dashed for these legends. There is still hope, but my lord, is it thin. Look at the buy, though, from Flipside. This should, in theory, be 12-14. But We've seen stranger things happen today.
NiP are definitely not dead yet. They found a good strategy they can use from mid-control to get into the A-bomb site. Now it's Flipside's turn to find a counter to that one because they've been struggling to pick up those kills. Entry power has increased immensely in just these past couple of rounds alone for NiP, forging their way into the sites and making it outright impossible for Flipside to do anything about it, which is why we had to see those save calls come in.
And I'm wondering if Flipside do anything different here as well, Blue, because you know they've been kind of outdone by the same sort of posture, you know, this same sort of play, excuse me. But not this time. You can see how passive NiP are. They know what they're coming up against. This is normally where everyone starts hailing the praises, or, you know, speaking of the praise of threat, how well that NiP come into these rounds when they have the guns and they're against a team who generally just doesn't. It's very, very clean normally. They have been struggling a little bit here, and WorldEdit seems to have a plan in mind as to how he wants to counter these constant A hits that are now coming through for NiP. It's been that A split, the 3 through mid, the 2 going through either Palace or Ramp. But it's not going to be the case here. So Shara dedicate himself towards B. He's the one with the rifle. Everything else, again, going towards A. This looks like NiP's answer so far.
WorldEdit as well, hugging outside of connector, because that's going to be the big focus point for NiP. We'll see if he can grab anything up close. Got to be careful to make sure it doesn't get sprayed, but that flashbang is huge. He moves directly in there. Now has an AK in hand, but he is kind of trapped at the moment here in the little cubby, trying to peek his way back out, looking for the frag on a Pit, but he's not going to find it. Meanwhile, in the site, though, Markaloff and Blade have found 2 pickups. It's Pit and Get Right that go down. All of a sudden, you're just looking at Forest and Exist, and they're both separated as well. That's a good nade going over there onto Blade. Brings him down to 64. Exist finding a pickup. Shard trades Forest, though, he's caught out, and it's going to be Waylander catching him on the flank. It's another round for Flipside, and they are 1 away from stripping Ninjas in Pajamas of their legend spot and pushing them into the main event tomorrow.
This is what dreams are made of for Flipside. Picking up a round like that is something you do not see every single day. Again, NiP had it all in hand, and they might have just let it slip. They seem to have had a counter. They seem to have had something in mind as to how to break this Flipside team, but it's not been the case, and we are back into this one, 15-11 Blue. What a beautiful game we're watching here.
NiP are going to go straight forward into the B-bomb site. It looks like lining up very quickly. Exist hanging back right now to throw off some utility in towards middle, and the bomb actually falling back too, so I correct myself. It's not going to be as direct as it would appear initially. Trying to see if they can force some rotations early on from Flipside, and Forest pushing into the Palace as well, but he's burning. He's got to be careful there, taking quite a bit of damage from it too. Pit following it up. They've got 3 players inside, but Pit's now at 20 HP. Flipside, they've rotated, but not everyone. They are sort of expecting if something is up. Markaloff for the first kill. He finds a second, and Forest again on Shara.
It's Waylander. He has it all to do. Get on towards A. He's the one who can stop it, but no. He gets overrun by Get Right. We're down to a 3v3. The HP is dire for the Ninjas. It's down to nothing. The retake is building. Forest has a chance, but it's being stripped away piece by piece. Forest finds Blade. Can he find any more? The 2v2 now comes into effect. WorldEdit finds Exist, and it's the 1v1, but the defuse is coming out.
He's not going to make it.
Flipside have done
What is this? Flipside have upset Ninjas in Pajamas in huge fashion. It's a 2-1 victory for them. They're moving on to tomorrow. And for Ninjas in Pajamas, what a huge heartbreak. Coming into this one, it would seem like it would be such a straightforward match, but no. This is a completely new Flipside and an absolutely incredible victory.
That is a absolutely devastated NiP side, and what an exceptional game from Flipside. They deserve every second of praise from this one. They have fought tooth and nail. We saw that cash game come through, and that was just beautiful to witness, and they just fought with sheer heart into the second and third map. I'm absolutely stunned. Credit to Flipside. NiP, that's gotta hurt.
Look at them right now. They're so happy about that one. What an amazing turn of events. And guys, we're gonna leave it up to our analysts to talk about that. But before we do, I'm sure we'll be having an interview. That should be coming up in just a few moments. Stick around, and we'll be back with more to digest this incredible game.
Welcome back to ESL One Cologne. We've grabbed Markelov red hot after an amazing victory against NiP. Markelov, firstly, congratulations on creating history as being the first team to knock out Ninjas in Pyjamas from the top 8. They are no longer legends. Can you just summarize what you're feeling right now? Because you guys just jumped up with joy after that.
I really can't express everything I feel right now. It's really hard. I'm really happy. Really happy for my teammates, who actually the first time by the group stage in top 8. That's my 4th time, but since 2 years, I don't know, it's a really amazing feeling.
And such a great way to do it as well. You guys played incredibly well. A little bit slow in the first map, perhaps, but second map you dominated at times, and then the third map, just tell me, how do you prepare for a team like NiP like that and then pull it off?
Actually, we never played cash on our practice, so it was like first time. And but we were pretty confident. We beat Mouse Sports on that map like a couple of months or weeks ago. We were pretty confident, and we had nothing to lose, actually. That's why we play calm, we play in our strats, our communication level in team was on the top level, and it was a key for success. That's it.
Very straightforward, really.
Yeah, oh, I can't say much. I'm just excited.
So, all right, so look forward to the quarterfinals. SK Gaming now, #1 team in the world. Easy, right?
Not that easy. We play against them in practice like at all, but they had better PCs than we did. So now we have equal, so we'll see.
Confident?
Yeah, of course we are.
After that win?
Sure.
Why not? Good luck in the quarterfinal. Markelov and his team, Flipside Tactics, are into the quarterfinals of the expensive NiP. Let's catch up with Alex and the boys at the NVIDIA expert desk.
Just childlike wonderment. It's like a child on Christmas morning there from Markelov. It's the first time, he said it before, he did 4 attempts, and this time he does get out of the groups, and what a fashion. Gentlemen, it was Mirage. We still doubted Flipside, and I mean justifiably so. I'm sure NiP maybe fell into a similar boat. But Jason, I will start with you. We need to put this victory into perspective, first of all. We will be talking in depth about Mirage, but Flipside Tactics have just knocked NiP out in the group stages of ESL One Cologne.
This is one of the biggest upsets, if not the biggest upset we've had in CSGO. I mean, even to do it at the major as well in a best of 3, because that's the thing. It's not just like they came in and they knocked them out in 2. This was like a 3-map, you know, grind session. Some of these maps were very difficult. That huge win on Cash, I think it's hilarious. Markelov just said we didn't really practice it that much. That's massive. But there's one big thing that comes to mind, and this was I know Flusha said it in an interview, and I know just talking to some of the other pros, we've heard them echo the same sentiments, is that because NiP has made this switch to like this more very heavy tactical style, they become much easier to read. Once you kind of understand where the tactic is coming, you really know how to counter it, and Blade is like the mastermind of that. So, I mean, it was a little bit of a trap for NiP, but still, it's incredibly unexpected.
And I've never heard that much noise out Flipside. I was fortunate enough to be near them as they picked up that win, and there were some loud words shouted, I'll say that much. They were very, very ferocious almost as they picked up that win. Yanko, let's turn our attention to Mirage. We know it's a crazy upset.
You know, I feel you rewatch that game, you don't know who's on what side, and you will say, oh, this is typical NiP, the way they won that game. Because the way Flipside was winning the rounds, they win a couple of, eco rounds or on a weak buy out of nowhere with pistols. They have these incredible clutch rounds where they defuse through the smoke, and that's something NiP used to do, right? In their miraculous runs, that's where the NiP magic comes from, even starting from the first pistol round. But you have to give it to Flipside. They just outplayed the NiP fair and square in their own game, pretty much.
Both pistol rounds going their way down. Was that just the beginning of the end for NiP?
It seemed to be that way, and on the T side, we saw a lot of emphasis on faster rounds from NiP. Typically, you're not going to see them hanging around too much, but they wanted to keep the chaos going, and because that's a spot where a lot of their players can do very well individually. But when it comes to individual play, I mean, we didn't see that presence from Get Right and Forest as we normally would. I mean, Pit was the best player, and I mean, Pit it's not usually he's in support roles generally speaking, so you don't usually see big numbers from him. You know that he can do it when he's pushing. push to do it. But right now, he was essentially kind of the carry for the team. So that pace was smart, but they just didn't have the individual skill. And with that nothing to lose mentality coming out, I mean, Markov picking up the AWP a lot as well and doing very well with it. I mean, it was just a perfect storm there for the individuals of Flipside.
And individuals of Flipside, it would be rude not to mention youngster Wayland. I say youngster, new face definitely to the major. And was this the breakout performances? Is you know, the sky the limit for this guy? We were very excited about him at the start of things.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really say that this is like he's hit it, he's gotten there yet, because we've seen these performances out of him before. Now this obviously the hype of the moment is gonna cause people to over exaggerate it. He still needs to show more consistency moving forward. We still have to see how he's gonna do even in that next series. I mean, they could come out tomorrow and just get smashed by SK. They're going to need him to have a consistent performance like he did today. They're going to need it from World Edit as well.
It's also important to point out for new viewers, Markelov in 1.6, he was the part of the legendary Na'Vi lineup. He was the star player, the main opera of the team. And in CSGO, especially with Flipside, he moved to more of a supportive role, giving more room to some of the younger players. But now he's slowly started to pick up the op again. Had that maybe one of the most important, definitely one of the most important rounds in the game, where he picked up those 3 kills towards mid. And I have to say, we've always praised NiP for their, prowess, threat, especially tactical prowess, for their anti-force buy rounds. Here it's been absolutely hideous in a way, the way they're spread out across the map, the way they allow themselves to get picked off towards mid. And then you can see they're forced to react towards the A bomb site, where they're like that round where Waylander got the kill with the Zeus. It's because he was close apps, just waiting for exactly that type of a reaction. So really good all-around play from Flipside.
And a bit of a change in form, Dan, from what we expected from NiP. I mean, we wrote off DreamHack summer losses to Immortals. We looked at the ECS result. We started to expect the boot camp to reset everything from NiP. But now a loss here in the group stages, it's just a question of where's that NiP gone?
Yeah, it seems like there is a big drop off, and as you say, it's not just one event. Now it's seemingly a trend. And I know that actually I spoke to him at ECS after the matches that they lost, because it's so shocking in the way that they lost it, and he took the blame fully on himself and his calling, actually. And I think in the green room we were talking about everyone praising Threat for their success, but equally you have to question, is the leadership going to be too confining? Again, putting those players in a structure when you do have emotional guys like Forrest and GetRight that do need to get the fragging in there. You do need to give them a bit of freedom. So is that the problem? Is something that they have to fix now?
I mean, the last tournament that they attended at ECS was the first time NiP dropped out of the group stages, dropped out of a tournament without winning a single map. It was the worst tournament, I think, worst LAN performance for both Forrest and GetRight. Now, they did look better coming into this tournament, but now in the deciding game against Flipside, they weren't there to lead the team forward. As Jason pointed out, Pith was, I think, the best performer in that team.
And it's going to be weird to look at, but we have to look at the Group B bracket. Let's put into perspective, as Group B does wrap up, this could be a bit of a mind-boggler. You'll see it is both the CIS teams, where we started that 16-7 game way ago yesterday. Now we see Na'Vi Flipside. That is indeed how it did play out, and actually it was 3 days ago.
Eastern Europe reigns supreme, Alex.
Evidently.
CIS, 3 teams through the playoffs.
I mean,
North
Ninjas in
America,
pajamas.
maybe 1 team, probably not.
Listen, they're gonna bounce Mouse Sports right out of this tournament.
And they've already hinted at it. That's what's coming up next. We get Mouse Sports versus Liquid. We're going to be seeing that in a full best of 3. But Ninjas in Pajamas, a team that has made it out of every single major to date. History is written by Flipside, a team that has struggled to get out of every group stage of every major so far. It's completely been turned on its head here at ESL One Cologne, and it is just halfway through the event. And halfway through the day as well. 2 more best of 3s to come. Liquid Mouse is our next one, and that's what you have to look forward to after our break. Before we go, I have a story to tell you. I was just scrolling through Google Play, actually, and iOS on the App Store. I was scrolling through both simultaneously on 2 different smartphones. I came across this app called The Score Esports. You may not have heard of it. Check it out. It's got CSGO news as well as Dota, League of Legends, all your esports under one roof. You check it out. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, Mouse Sports will be going against Liquid. We'll see how that plays out.